There are so many areas or different tools that you can learn when it comes to no code. And I know that it can be hard to try and pick what type of area you want to get into or what type of software you want to use, which is why in this video, I'll be doing a quick fire comparison of the tools that you can learn in 4 of the major no code categories. And these categories are websites, web apps, automation, and design. So if you're wanting to get into no code, you're probably going to fall into one of these categories with the softwares that you're going to end up learning. And chances are you're probably going to try all of them before deciding which one you prefer. So I'll be doing a comparison of 2 tools in each of these categories that you can start to learn right now and explain the differences in under 2 minutes each. So let's get into it. So for the first category, which is web design, I want to talk about 2 very popular softwares: Webflow and Framer. Now, Webflow's user interface is a pretty simple one, and it allows you to drag and drop elements onto the page and clearly displays the style section on the interface, allowing you to easily control the CSS, which, if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much just how you want to style and design the elements that you place on the page. But it has a more structured approach when you want to manually configure the positioning, the layout of the page, and where you want to set all the different types of elements. But Framer has been creating this hype over how simple the UI interface is and how easy it is for you to quickly whip up a design and actually get a page up and running with easily including different types of elements and have a look ready pretty quickly. Webflow still allows a little bit more control over its CSS and HTML customization, which, like I mentioned before, is essentially just the elements you place on the page and what you want to do with them with the styles and editing of it. Whereas Framer's strength is essentially how interactive the design interface is and how simple they actually make it for designers and people who want to just have a quick UI and easy interface to very quickly have a web page ready in a very short amount of time without having to worry about the little smaller details if you don't want to. So if you're just starting out and don't want to get too much into technicalities and all the little customizations and in-depth details of designing a website, then Framer is probably the choice that you should go for. However, if you actually want to gain a lot more in-depth knowledge of a no-code builder that allows for strong customization and editing techniques and styles, and even if you want to dabble into code a little bit, then Webflow is definitely the one that you should pick. Now onto the second category, which is web app development. The 2 that I want to compare is Bubble and Softer. Now I've spoken about Bubble a lot on my channel, so you know I'm pretty familiar with this already. Bubble has a strong focus on visual programming and is great for complex applications. And in comparison, Softer offers a more straightforward interface suitable for simpler applications or quicker prototyping. So if you do want to just get an idea out there, you want to design something nice and quick, Softer is probably going to be an easier option for that reason. And it also won't take you as long to learn Softer in comparison to Bubble. Bubble does have a steep learning curve and there is a lot to it, but of course that also means its capabilities is stronger than Softer. Softer does kind of emphasize its ease of use and how quickly you can actually get a software or web application idea up and running, quite similar to what I was saying with Framer in regards to its website design. But Bubble is pretty much the strongest no-code app development tool that you can use at the moment without obviously going into the complete custom stack with using code. Now with its customizations and functionality, Bubble does have its own database that you can use for your own web apps without needing to integrate any other database applications. However, if you still prefer to integrate another application like Airtable, Bubble does still allow that using its API integrations, which has a countless amount of different API integrations that you can use with Bubble. Softer, on the other hand, needs a database integration and is actually known for connecting with applications like Airtable and Google Sheets. It doesn't have its own database structure like Bubble. So in conclusion, Bubble does have a lot more capabilities and is also kind of like an all-in-one application with also the options to have plenty of other API integrations. However, it does have a lot more complexity to it and does take a little bit more time to actually learn it. Whereas Softer, you can actually learn in a shorter amount of time, but similar to what I was mentioning before with the websites, it will have limited capabilities in comparison. So it really just comes down to what you're preferring. If you do want to just have a quick idea and you want to just get it out there and see what it would be like as a software, Softer might be the option for you. But if you do really want to get hands-on with development and building a no-code web application, then I would definitely recommend Bubble. And I've even got a few crash courses on Bubble at the moment on this channel, so definitely check them out if you haven't already. Guys, before we continue, why haven't you joined my Skool community yet? I'm building the biggest no-code community on the Skool platform, and it's currently free to access right now. It's not going to be free permanently, it is free for a limited time, so please join as soon as you can. We're going to be discussing so many different no-code topics, and we're going to be releasing exclusive video tutorials and mini courses resources on there as well. And we're going to be able to share with one another some different business ideas, tips and tricks as well. We just want to build a big no-code community that can help each other out to excel in this area and to just be better no-code developers. So if you haven't joined it already, please do so. The link will be in the description below. I hope to see you in there. Back to the video. And the third category is automation. Now, the two applications I want to talk about for this are pretty much the biggest ones in this category, and that's Zapier and Make. Now, Zapier is probably a little bit more straightforward and user-friendly to use, and Make, on the other hand, allows for a lot more complex workflows and automations that you can schedule and build out. Now, with integration, both platforms will pretty much integrate with any of the applications that you use right now and are probably planning on using in the future. So there isn't really too much to worry about in regards to which one you should prefer based purely on that, but it's more about the specifics and how you want to actually automate those applications and how much of it you want to do. That will be a bit more of a factor. Now, a big difference between these two is actually the pricing. Considering Make is more complex and arguably can do more than Zapier, it's still surprisingly cheaper. As when you look at the prices of Zapier, you can see that when you want to start scaling Zapier and doing a lot more automations, it can get quite expensive to use. Whereas Make has a lot more of a simpler structure with its pricing and what their subscription offers. So if automation is going to be a big part for whatever it is that you want to do, I would probably go to Make. Yes, Zapier might be easier to learn, but when you get the hang of things with Make, it's a lot more scalable and also it's going to end up being a lot more cheaper for you. And the last category we want to discuss is design tools. Now, two of the most popular applications to use for UI and UX design is Figma and Adobe XD. Now, both Figma and Adobe XD do very similar things in regards to the UI and UX design capabilities, and they both offer strong collaboration features so you can work with others who are in your team or others that you want to design with as well. Figma does this via a web-based platform, while Adobe XD offers the features integrated into its desktop web application like all the other Adobe apps as well. Now, both platforms provide pretty strong capabilities, enabling designers to create interactive prototypes with ease, whether you're designing a website or an application and software. You can design pretty much most of that in Figma or Adobe XD. They both have pretty strong features to allow you to do that with ease. It does just come down on your personal preference in terms of, do you prefer the layout of one over the other on that certain platform. Now, with regards to integrations of the two, both Figma and Adobe XD integrate well with other tools and services. Now, Adobe XD, obviously being in the Adobe ecosystem, will integrate very well with other Adobe applications if you currently use them. So if you are someone who uses things like Photoshop, Illustrator, or Adobe Premiere Pro, you're probably used to the whole Adobe ecosystem and want to just stick to that, and that's completely fine. But if you're someone who's going to start using Webflow or even maybe Bubble, Figma's probably the direction you want to go in. From what I've seen and from what I've learned, Figma does seem to be the more common one and a bit more of the industry standard for people who are using things like Webflow and Bubble. So you'd probably want to go to that because of the integration purposes. And I know Webflow does have a lot of integration with Figma, so does Framer as well. And I know that Figma offers a lot more of a wide variety of integrations as well. And it is a lot more versatile being a web application and isn't kind of limited to just the Adobe Creative Cloud suite. Now, in saying that, you can still get away with using either, regardless of what application you want to build on and things like that. But that's just my opinion based on what I've learned and what I know. So those are two tools in each of the four major categories of no-code development that you need to be aware of. If you're stuck or if you're new on your no-code journey, just pick either one of those applications that I've compared. Don't confuse yourself too much. I know there's a lot of different information out there, but trust me, these are probably all the most popular applications in each respective category. For me personally, with my preferences, I'm choosing to go for Webflow for website design, Bubble for web applications, Make for my automations, and Figma for my UI and UX design. This is just what I've been learning a lot more of. So I've just naturally gone to those applications, especially because when I was learning a lot early on, those were the applications that I was using a lot, and those were the ones that I was watching video tutorials of. So I just got used to them. But though, like I said, they're all quite similar, but also have some differences depending on the complexity and how much you want to learn of it. So use this video to help you with the comparison, and you just need to stop overthinking and just pick a few applications you want to learn and just start. Now, once you've picked your no-code tools that you want to learn, if you want to understand a little bit more about some business ideas that you can turn your no-code skills into, check out this video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.